Greetings and welcome to the Cerebral Women Art Talks podcast. I'm Phyllis Hollis, your host. As an extension of my Instagram page, Cerebral Women, this podcast offers insights into the visual art world. I interview artists, mainly artists of color and female artists who will freely articulate what inspires their creativity. In addition, you'll hear interesting perspectives from dedicated art professionals who work with artists and the art institutions that feature them. I'm confident that collectively, these individuals will indeed stimulate your mind as they do our eyes. Please know these interviews are conducted in my Manhattan apartment, so please forgive the background sounds of city life. Welcome to the Cerebral Women Art Talks podcast. My next guest is visual artist Nate Lewis. I was first introduced to his work when I saw his solo exhibition at the New York City Armory in 2019. His work is intricate and layered and compels the viewer to study it. After speaking with him, I began to understand why. Nate is an exceptional person and a unique artist who realized his passion for art while working as a nurse in various intensive care units. He will have his first New York City solo exhibition at the Fridman Gallery, March 1st through April 5th. He's currently featured in the Smithsonian Group traveling show, the 21C Museums and Hotel in Cincinnati, the Urban Institute for Contemporary Art, and he'll be in a group show in May in Rome. During Art Basel Untitled, he achieved 4 institutional acquisitions. It's been wonderful. He's been very successful, both as a nurse and as an artist, and I'm excited to welcome Nate Lewis to the Cerebral Women podcast. When did you realize you are innately an artist?
Yeah, so as you said, the first thing that I did, I guess, to create art myself was I started playing the violin. And it was my my last year of nursing school. For whatever reason, my mother played the violin a little bit, and it was the break to go into. It was Christmas break, and you have like a month off. And for whatever reason, I decided to pick up the violin and play for like 3 hours a day for like 3 weeks. I guess that's just what I do. If I want to do something, I just go at it like a bull. So shortly after playing, my mom's like, wow, you sound better than me already. And before that, I just listened to music, just very active listening. And I loved music. I had an ear for music. And I feel like that was kind of like my first time that I paid attention to art. It was through music. Then I started playing the violin and picked it up well. For such a short time of getting it. I had some lessons.
It's a tough instrument. I played the violin.
Do you?
In elementary school. No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
did. Yeah.
I stopped, but it's a tough instrument. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible when you first start out. It's absolutely the worst. It sounds so bad. But I was just didn't want to sound like trash. Just playing around just for a little bit, and I was just determined to be able to listen to my own self play. So I figured it out.
Did you record yourself at all?
I did. I think when I started recording myself, it was probably when I figured out how to play. There was a song that I really wanted to play. It's not the only reason why I played the violin, but there was a song off of The Last of the Mohicans. The movie. I love that song so much.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when I told my violin teacher, like at the same time, she's like, "Okay, well, what would you like to try to play?" I'm like, the theme of The Last of the Mohicans. She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's a really hard one." I'm like, "I know." She's like, "Well, next time you come in," she's like, "I'll have the music written for you, and we'll start at it." So she had it written, we started at it, and I was not getting anywhere with it at all. I was just, okay, I can hit this note, I can hit this note.
So did you have to learn how to read music also?
Absolutely.
So you did both learn how to read music as well as?
So I just practiced it just regularly, and it was the weirdest thing. I remember when it clicked, and it felt like it wasn't like a fractured way of going through the notes in the different portions of the song, and there was a rhythm, and I felt it, and it was a breakthrough, I would say, when that happens. And I mean, I think it's just it's just persistence, really, but it made sense. And then I was like, wow, I'm like, I could probably actually play the violin after I started to figure that out. But and then after that, I played throughout like my first few years, like working as a nurse, but also my second year working as a nurse, I started drawing, and like when you start to work in like a new unit, you have to take like 6 months to learn how to be proficient in that unit. You have to take classes, and in the classes, I couldn't stay awake. So I drew to stay awake, and the doodles got better. I showed my sister. She's like, wow, these are really good. She's been an artist since like day one. And she bought me a book to learn how to draw. So I was like, okay, let me learn how to draw. Yeah. So with doing that, I went through the book probably like I don't know, maybe like a month or two. And then after that, I she was telling me, like, you need to learn how to draw from life. Like, this is how you become a good draftsman. And I was like, okay, sure. And I did that for a little bit, and it was really boring. So I just ended up drawing what I wanted to draw, and it ended up being musical instruments and red blood cells and organs.
Really?
It's the first thing I drew. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I did, I started bringing them together because I was into music. I was playing music, and I was working in the ICU. So, these are the things that are on my mind. So I made concepts with them. Like, the first thing I ever drew was it was a trumpet with like a set of lungs coming out of it. So it was like these concepts with music and anatomy that made sense to me.
Do you still have those works? Did you keep some?
Yeah, there's some
good.
paintings that me and my sister worked on together, but I did a t-shirt line. That's my dirty little secret.
Well, you can share them with us.
I did a t-shirt line. Yeah. So in doing that, like, the designs, they were cool. I mean, they were great, The t-shirts sold, people responded to them well. But because, like, I think it was because, it was very much like a designy, illustration-y, because those just came very easy to me, what I did and the response to them. Like, and this is literally, I started this the first year of drawing. I started this t-shirt line, and then me and my sister collaborated on some installations and some things. I was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of talent. So I just pursued it, really. And I was sick of drawing organs and instruments, and people would request, like, can you do a liver with like a ukulele? I'm like, no, I cannot. That doesn't make any sense. But I got bored with drawing organs and instruments. I became like the organ music guy. Like, that's horrible to continue. Maybe like 3 years after that, you do not want to be that guy. It's not a good place to be. So then I just started diving into what interested me, and it was just patterns and line. And I just kind of just played with line and pattern. Then I also just started doing figure drawing. Because at that point, what happened was it was 2014, and I decided to quit working full time to work, to go to a hospital where I could be in the float pool, which means I got paid more, but I worked less. So I went from working 3 days a week, which is full-time as a nurse, 12-hour shifts, to working like 2 days a week, 1 to 2 days a week. And I told myself I was just gonna like put myself through like my own art school, and I was gonna wake up and I was gonna paint, and I was gonna do figure drawing, and then play with line and pattern, and that's what I did.
You're a photographer also, though, right?
Yeah, I work with photography, but I don't consider myself a photographer.
Okay.
Just because I guess photography is the medium that I use to communicate a message. You know, it's necessary, but because like in a lot of my images, especially the images that I use like of the inauguration, and I wasn't looking for like the perfect shot or anything. And if like there was like a little bit of like blur in my photo or something, like I do that purposefully. I mean, I guess I'm a photographer, but it's I don't consider myself that, and I'm not gonna like lock myself, into that. It's not the most important thing to me. It's just to communicate the message that I want to communicate after use photography.
So you alter photographs?
Yeah. So I take the images, and then I edit them in Photoshop and print them. And then what I do is I sculpt texture like within them. So I think about it like it's the piece of paper, like it's an organism. And I pull out, it's like pulling out different parts of the anatomy is how I think about it in like a cellular way. So it ends up looking like different materials, and like, different materials like fabrics and embroidery and like layers of paper, but it's just a single sheet of paper still. And I use ink within that, and I've been doing like fabric rubs within it as well, and using like graphite and pen.
Yeah, I was curious about that because I noticed that the images I saw, there's a lot of different textures throughout.
Yeah. It's I started working with paper, and it was the end of 2013. Like when I started working with paper as a material itself. Well, I guess it was the first time I worked with paper was it was working with electrocardiogram rhythms of patients that I took care of. Yeah. So my sister, she, like I said, she was an artist, and she worked with paper, and she was into materials. And so I really took after her. I was like, oh, wow, I'm into materials too. But I understood why I ended up being into materials, because for me, materials, you could use them like in a cellular way, like one by one. And and I liked a lot of work where it was repetitive patterns too, on a repetitive patterns, but like just a small thing, like a cellular thing. But if you do it in a colossal way, it's kind of like the closest thing to being something that feels like natural or organic, So I was working with rhythms of patients I took care of in the ICU. And it was because I was just convicted. It was, I think the word I use is when I was working in there, I was just very porous to what was happening and to the situation that, I was in. I realized it was a very unique position to be in. And it was unique, it was intense, and I realized I could learn a lot from this. And it was something that I thought was really important, to be in that, with the families, with the patients. And then you just learn a lot about yourself through it. And it's a dance. So through conviction, I started working with people's rhythms. It was like, wow, like working with people's heart rhythms. What else would I want to do? I mean, it kind of summed up, I guess, everything where I was. And I thought I'd be working with those heart rhythms forever. I'm like, there's nothing more interesting than working with the heart rhythms of people, that you've taken care of. So I made pieces with these individual pieces, like with the strips. I was doing like cutting areas out like behind the rhythms, and I was just like playing with collage, like putting like sheet music and just patterns, just like, patterns that I liked really. And then I was just cutting out like little, just like some of the little boxes within the rhythm. It's like a graph paper. It represents like a portion of time. It's I can't remember if it's 0.4 seconds. I can't remember. It's been some time, it's been some time. But and then I started like painting like in the individual boxes, which represents a moment of time. So what happened was they started getting like dots and things on them. They weren't archival. I wasn't thinking about that. It's like it's chemical thermal paper. So if it's heat affects it, and it started turning, odd colors. And when that happened, when I saw the pieces, it wasn't long too, maybe like 5 or 6 months. I was like devastated. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I can't make work with the rhythms. Like, I'm done. Why even make art anymore? It's pointless. And I told a good friend of mine and mentor, Stanley Squirrell. And
I know his work.
Yeah, he lived in, he was an early mentor of mine in DC. And he told me, he's like, man, this is fine. He's like, just scan them, blow them up with the computer, and then you can do whatever you want with them. And I mean, that wasn't cool to me because I wasn't hip to the contemporary game yet. I was just like, but it's not the piece. It's not the rhythm. It's not the actual thing that was in the hospital. He was like, it's okay. The message will get across. So what I ended up doing was I listened to him. And I scanned them. I blew them up big. And then, but like where my head was, I was like, oh, wow, if I blow them up big, I can do anything. I can like put found materials on them and collage of this and do that. It was just kind of endless because it wasn't like a small rhythm. But what I realized was if I'm like working with people's rhythms, I knew when I was doing those collages, it wasn't what I wanted. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get there. So what I started doing, I was like, I really want the rhythms, whatever I do in interacting with them, I want it to feel natural and organic, coming from like within. So I just started doing something like that my sister did and working with paper, and she just she was cutting up paper in the small certain patterns and like layering it. So I just started doing that as a starting point. I knew that wasn't going to be the end point, but that's how I start to find my own language through other people's languages, and that my sister was the first one. So in doing that, I was doing that, and then I was playing with layers of paper. I was putting like sheets of paper under the rhythm that I printed, and I was paying attention to a lot of paper art. But there was, I knew there was a void. I didn't know where it was, but I'm like, there's so much missing, and I don't know exactly where it is. But this was my first time to dive in and see what it was. So I did that, and I was making like cuts and folds with the layers of paper, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm like, all right, this is going somewhere. And then I kept taking the sheets of paper underneath away and and then I got down to just the one sheet of paper, just the rhythm. So then I just started making cuts and folds in that. I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. This is interesting. And then at the same time, I had like an illustration style I was starting to form. And it was cool. My brother-in-law, he's like, wow, this is really nice. He's like, you should keep moving with that. But I was thinking, I'm like, well, let me use the blade like a pen. And what happened was I just cut into the paper just very close to each other because I used the graph in the electrocardiogram paper that's printed out as a guide to like to find pattern, and I just cut super close. Instead of using like a line, I would do like these really close like line drawings. I used the blade like that. And what happened was I did that, and then I like held it up like towards a light, and it was like alchemy. Like it turned to silk, and I was like, holy shit. And that was the point of the breakthrough. Because I paid attention to so much paper art, because I knew there was something missing. I didn't know what it was. When I saw that it could do that, like I knew it could do anything. You know what I mean? But the most interesting thing about it is it wasn't a breakthrough for paper. It just unlocked my way of thinking. Creativity. Yeah, it was. And I mean, I have named them all after like a lot of them were after like specific incidences.
Oh, wow.
Like I remember the most one I can recall is like I named these pieces. It was like one of my favorite pieces too. I think I kept it. I did keep it. It's mine. I kept that. I didn't sell it. That's so wonderful. It was named it Rabies in India. There was this guy who came in. This was when I was working on the stroke unit. This was like when I first, like my second year, I think. Yeah, he came in. I don't know. He was like 40 or something like that. And he had symptoms of rabies. And if you have symptoms of rabies, that's it. You're done if you have symptoms. So, yeah. So, we were all taking care of this guy. I remember my friend was the main one taking care of him. And her name was Sarah. And it was kind of like he was just spiraling, just like losing his mind. And, you just watch that, and as something else I found out with rabies, like, because people like foam at the mouth, it's because they become hydrophobic. They become scared of water. So they're like trying to like get their spit out. And it's just like, wow. It's wild. Yeah. So, I came in the next day and like he was like pretty much, he was going,
I didn't realize. So it's fast.
Oh, it's fast. Yeah. He was in India, and I guess you get it from like droppings, and I think like monkey bat droppings or something like that. Mm. Yeah. So I remember that. That was like very, very fond, Yeah.
How do you want your work, your art, to impact the way people think? It's a little loaded.
Wow. I mean, for example, like these, like I'm doing this series on, I guess I've been like kind of tracking the current times, and I've been doing different series in relation to like these popular subject matters, for drawing attention to things, abstracting things. So I'm interacting with these monuments right now, and I'm just trying to put a lot of different emotion in them. Like my work is still like, it ends up being beautiful, like I can't, I'm not at a place where I don't want to make it like beautiful, it's aesthetically what it is. I don't know how to make anything any other way how I want to make it, so anybody can look at it and just be like, oh, it's like, wow, you're like kind of like talking to, I feel it's like you're kind of talking to everybody with it, You're just really trying to, I'm looking at it in a way of like how I know I've been thinking about them and how the country's thinking about them, and really just trying to dissect them and understand like what it is to do with them. And I'm just trying to show all those different emotions, and show the emotions that people feel who, whatever, for the Confederacy, I'm just trying to show everything in it, because I'd rather just keep it complicated, because like shit is complicated.
I don't really want to agree with you, but I have to say, yes, shit is complicated more now than ever before. Thank you for joining me today and sharing with us your very interesting journey to become an artist.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. This was wonderful.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Next, I want to share with you something special. Just when we thought we had wrapped up the session, we were sitting around and having a nightcap, then Nate started sharing some of his experiences with Peggy Cooper Cafritz. And looking back on it, I feel compelled to share it with you all. So of course you'll hear Nate and myself chatting, but you'll also hear my audio engineer, Isaiah Egan, chime in a couple times. Without further ado, let's get back to the conversation.
Really encouraging.
I found him when I got the
Peggy Cooper's.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when I just saw his first. That's where I
Fired Up and Ready to Go. That book? Mm-hmm. Peggy Cooper's book?
Cafritz.
Yeah, Peggy Fired Up and Ready to Go. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in that book as well.
Are you in the book? Okay.
Yeah, she was like such a G. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like the first time I showed work, like the second time maybe, it was in DC. It was just the sheets of paper that I was, the white sheets of paper the 8.5 by 11s that I was sculpting into. My brother-in-law hit up Peggy and was like, hey, like you should check out, you know, my brother-in-law's work. Because my brother-in-law, Shantae, he went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm. Huh. So he was tight with Peggy. And like, I got to the thing late. I don't know, like a half hour late. I got there and they're like, all 3 of your pieces are gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, who got them? Like, Peggy Cooper. I was like, holy shit. She didn't even go in. She just went online. Bing, 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 bottom. Huh. And then I showed a work in Basel at Aqua, like when I was working with this gallery in DC. She bought a piece. And then I did another thing with WPA. It was this, it was like one of the big, you know, the big exhibitions. And she got the piece. And then I saw her, or she called me, and she was like, hey, I saw a piece that I really liked. It was like with a cube, and it was like coming off the guy's head. She's like, what about that piece? I was like, oh, Peggy, I'm like, it's in a show, but it's sold already. She's like, oh, man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, we'll work it out. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll give you a call, you know, we'll work this out. So I think like 2 weeks later, maybe, she saw my brother-in-law, and she told my brother-in-law, like, hey, tell Nate that I have a birthday coming up and I wouldn't mind expecting something. So he told me, and I was like, word, of course I'll give Peggy a piece. Yeah.
That's great.
And then like some time went by. I was in New York at this point already, and time went by and I was coming back and forth. And then I had the piece for her. And I'm like, yo, Peggy, I'll be in on Saturday. I'm like, I want to see you. She's like, okay, cool. And I went back to DC, and then I called her like on Friday and nobody picked up the phone. And I was like, and I knew it. I was like, she died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew it. I just knew it because I knew she was sick. She was sick for a while.
Yeah.
And the one time I called her, like maybe 5 months ago, like the woman was like, oh, she's not available, like she's sick. And I just, you know, I just have that clock. I just know. I've seen people come in the hospital over periods of time, and I just knew it. I was like, oh wow, yeah, and she died, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
She was, she was so
awesome,
but she's fired up and ready to go, you know.
Yeah.
So like
I'll show you her book one of these days.
She like,
Peggy K.
the torch is still lit for sure.
I have to ask, what was the piece that you were about to give her?
Oh.
If you remember.
No, I do remember. But you know what? This story with it is like really sad. It's
also, at your description. Like,
no, it's not. No, it's not sad. Like, it's just stupid. So I made the same exact piece that she wanted. I made the same piece for her.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I had it framed. I brought it to DC, and then, you know, she died. So then I was bringing it back up to New York. I put it in a box in my room. And it was like, because I got in, I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this shit. Let me throw this in this box. And I threw that box away.
Accidentally. So let me ask you a question. First of all, did I introduce you to when you walked in?
Yeah.
I think we made that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, I threw the bees away.
Wow.
I was livid.
She sounds like the type of person that might have found humor in that.
Yeah, definitely.
She was having a good laugh.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that meant it was really meant just for her?
Wow, look at Phyllis. What?
Yeah.
It was meant for her.
Phyllis with the okie doke. Oh my gosh. Phyllis is storyteller. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even.
We should still be recording.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, no, it was meant for, you know, my mother, she has this saying that there's no coincidences.
Wow, Phyllis.
There's no coincidences.
Oh my gosh. It was meant for her.
It was meant for her.
That's wild. That's wild.
You weren't supposed to give it to anyone else.
Yeah. And you know what? I was going to give it to somebody else. And I was going to give it to them, actually. Because this person, they helped me install. They did the whole installation for my show that I had at Spring Break. When I at the end of my Pioneer Works residency, the director of exhibitions at Pioneer Works, he was like, yo, man, I'll help you. He's like, I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, it won't take just a couple of days. I was like, or like a day and a half at most. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm like, I'll pay you. He was like, no, just like give me a piece. I'm like, cool. So this was probably like 5-6 months later after that. And I was going to give that piece to him. And I threw it away. Now, I knew I was going to Pioneer Works like within a couple days. So I wanted to have this piece for him because it's been 6 months. And I went there, no piece. And I'm like, Jules, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, I threw it away. I'm like, I threw it.
So it was small then?
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, not...
So it was a big box?
Yeah, it was a big box, exactly. And he's like, what? I'm like, yes. So every time I went to Pioneer Works, I dreaded seeing him. I'm like, Jules, I'm going to get it. I'm sorry. And I finally got him his piece. It was 1 year later. I got it for him.
Thank you for listening to Cerebral Women Art Talks podcast. For additional content, please visit cerebralwomen.com and be sure to follow Cerebral Women on Instagram.